What's up, gamers? Welcome back to the Weapon Select series. We're here with Part 7, The Roast of Gems Charger. Here to participate with us in this glorious roast, we have some special guests. We have Aplo and Kayo, both of whom are competitive players that I have played with before. So Aplo is a backliner for Black Komodos, which is Div 5 team, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And then Kayo has... I know that you have like Div 4 experience on a bunch of teams. You played for Symphony, for example. Are you with another team right now? Or are you still a free agent?
Not currently, yeah. Still free agent.
Gotcha. Okay. So the thing is, they play Chargers, and I don't play Charger. And I'm bad at Chargers. And so they're here so that if I do something silly, they can tell me how silly I was, and we can all have a grand old laugh at my expense. We'll talk about the difference between scoped and unscoped when we get to it. But I'm actually going to start... normally I do this by picking the vanilla variant of the weapon, and then I talk about, okay, here's the basic one, and now here are all the deviations from it. But currently, I would say that the E-liter is actually more of a default charger than the Splat charger is. If you want a backline charger, you're probably talking about an E-liter at the current moment in time. And that's for, I think, a pretty basic fundamental reason. Let's say you were to just take every Splatoon map and wipe them completely clean, everything was completely flat, and there was nothing but paintable turf. That's basically all you could really run, because nothing else can get close enough to it, because it's the longest ranged weapon in the game. I don't know, maybe you have, like, a couple of E-liters, and then you're trying to set up a Hydra so that it can safely take a few steps forward and then try to shred multiple people at once. I don't know. But, like, the game would devolve pretty quickly to just whichever has the most range wins. And the E-liter has the most range out of anything. So that gives it a lot of power in... Oh, I should probably take a look at my gear before I go any further than this, because this is probably awful for this. I don't need Ninja Squid. I should probably run Respawn Punisher, even though I'm going to be punished by that more than my opponents are, given my level of skill. Where in the world is Respawn Punisher? There. We'll dress in black. We'll be stealthy, or something. And then would you guys say like Inksaver main and like swim speed, or?
Yeah, sounds good. That's usually what I run.
Yeah. Though on zones, you could. I've been running LDE lately, and it's been working pretty well.
Okay.
I don't know what the rotation is.
So, a couple of things about why we're building this the way that we are. On almost every build for any weapon, I do generally recommend seriously considering stealth jump, because the ability to move yourself back into the field of play quickly is so important. That said, the E-liter is one of those weapons that it's going to be playing from so far back, you're probably not actually going to jump that much. I do need to, one thing I do need to fix is I don't have enough quick super jump on this, so I might need to compromise a little bit on the build if I can't find any. Maybe if I have a shirt with swim speed that has some quick super jump chunks. Because I do not like playing this without quick super jump.
There's a main of quick super jump and a main of special charge and 2 subs of quick super jump. Because Respawn Punisher, you want to be a little careful, because if you're learning chargers and you're running Respawn Punisher, you might die quite a bit. And Respawn Punisher, it makes you respawn more slowly. So that's something to keep in mind. Got it.
And since I'm bad, this is definitely going to be the best idea for it. Okay, so now that we've got all of that out of the way, a charger player is an anchor, and the E-liter is one of the most quintessential anchor weapons in the game. The way that an anchor works is it's going to stay very, very far back because it has very, very long range. I can hit that. There aren't a lot of weapons in the game that can come anywhere close to hitting that. A lot of weapons have to be like this close to hit that. So, because I can use this range, I want to use this range. Up close, this weapon is not ideal. This is the kind of kill time we're talking about. It can be a little faster than that if I get the timing right. Yeah, there we go. So, I mean, it's better than an undercover umbrella. It's better than, like, indirects from a Clash Blaster. This is not saying much. It's very, very slow to splat from there. And people might ask, okay, why am I doing this, though? Why not just one-shot them? Because this takes such a long time. It is much, much slower to repeatedly charge than it is to tap-shot things. So I'll go from one to the other, and then I'll go tap, tap, tap. And look at how much longer I'm waiting for the next one to come up. Tap shots are faster DPS, so you're going to use that in the event that someone gets on top of you and is threatening you. And it's also useful for if, you know, maybe your teammate has hit some damage on someone and you only need the partial charge to be able to splat them. So you get a little bit more range without getting the one shot if you partial charge. So, you know, 63, that's often enough to combo with something that your teammate has done to the opponent. So that might be all you need in the event that you know that they're already damaged to be able to finish that off. But if you need the full charge, the full 180, that does take a little while, and so you want to keep your distance so you're not forced to be at close quarters against them, and you can instead use the biggest advantage of the weapon, which is you hit things from very far away. Now,
Another
one
thing to consider about close-up fights is using your ink mines, because if someone is breathing down on your neck, you could at least, if you have enough ink for it, you could at least drop a ink mine down and it'll mark them for your team, so they could see, oh, this guy is over here, and they could be aware of that.
Oh, hey, that's behind me. Whoops. How did I let that through?
It also does like 45 damage, which isn't bad, and it paints around so you have something to work with to run away.
Another advantage is that decreases the number of shots that you need to splat them. You only need 2 tap shots if they've been hit by a mine. And those tap shots, in scary situations where you've literally just been jack-in-the-boxed, you've been jump scared, that makes a big difference, only having to hit 2 shots instead of 3. So,
especially if you lay both down, it's really hard to push a leader with both mines around them.
But going back to the more general case of the anchor weapon as a general weapon, because not all of the chargers are going to have that capability. The anchor, by nature of being this far back and wanting to fight from back here and wanting to back away as soon as anyone gets anywhere near that space, a huge advantage of the weapon is that you're not going to go down very much. You're going to see your teammates go down a lot, but from back here, you're going to see your teammates go down and be like, something splatted my teammate a country mile away. Maybe I should back up before they get close enough to me to do the same thing to me. And you can be really, really far away whenever you're actually being threatened by a frontliner. And that means that not only, are you going to have more of an impact on the match because you're going to stay alive longer, but you are also going to give super jumps to your teammates. You're basically a living beacon as an anchor like this. If they went down, but they can jump back to you instead of having to swim all the way back in, that saves them a lot of time and enables them to play more aggressively, which they're going to need to, since you're going to be playing as passive as any weapon in the game plays. So, that's something to bear in mind. Protect your life, because your life is worth more than the trade that you would get if you were to just, tap shot someone and they were to splat you at the same time. If you're able to stay alive and just keep yourself alive in a 0-for-0 kind of engagement, you're doing more for your team most of the time than you would be by trading 1-for-1. So, E-Leader Longest range charger besides the scoped E-liter, which I guess we can talk about the scoped versus unscoped variants really quickly. The scoped variants have a couple of differences to them. One of the most important ones is that the scoped variants are actually a little bit longer range. So I'm going to scoot forward until I've got there. It's right about here that it goes away. So this is the range of the scoped E-liter. But if I switch to the standard E-liter, it doesn't reach. So while it is a relatively small difference, it does end up being significant, especially in backline matchups, where you're playing against weapons that aren't going to move very quickly from here. Like I'm moving forward full speed right now. This is as fast as I can go. Still moving. Still moving and grooving. We're getting there.
Alright, cue the Jeopardy theme.
Exactly.
We'll get there eventually.
So, any amount of movement extra that they have to do to get close to you is going to be particularly slow if they're trying to also manage charge while they do that. Splatlings, it's a slightly different story because they are going to run a ton of run speed to counteract that since they're going to have to be moving that way anyway. But they are much shorter range than you, and so they have to go pretty far and expose themselves pretty badly. And in the amount of time that it takes them to get to you, you're going to be able to get most of your charge ready to go. So you definitely don't want to be exposing yourself too much, and that tiniest little bit of extra range that can let you hit something from a range that it can't hit you is a really big deal. So that extra bit of range is really good. As you can see, obviously, you do also scope in, which I imagine some people prefer for the sake of aiming. It doesn't really make a difference in the way the aim handles. You are still able to snap as mind-blowingly fast, as incomprehensibly fast as this is. To the point where if you're going to run a scoped charger, you do want to start getting used to the muscle memory of just knowing how far you have to snap in a certain direction to hit a certain thing. Oh my goodness. Because you kind of just have to know, okay, if the opponent is over there, this is how far I have to move to get my aim onto it. And you just kind of have to, like, have in your mind's eye where that player is going and be predicting, because during the time you're scoping in, you're going to lose sight of them. And so you're going to have to get your aim back on at some point. The reason that I'm aiming someplace else and then moving is that one significant disadvantage of the chargers is that they have a laser that points out from the front. That green line you see between me and the reticle, that is visible to other players. That is not just an aiming thing. That is an actual thing that opponents will be able to see. And so even if you're, behind a wall or something, and, like, let's say we're worried about this guy right here. I can't see that player, but they can see me currently, in the sense that they can see the laser here and follow that laser back to where they can figure out that I am. That amount of information to give away about yourself is pretty risky. But what good charger players will try to do whenever they can is hide the laser, figure out where their shot is going, and then move their aim on so that the laser is only out there just before the shot is fired, giving their opponent less warning. So you can do that using cover. Like, these kinds of ramps actually work really well for that, because it's only visible once I'm not aiming at the wall anymore. You can also do the same sort of thing with jump shots. So that's really common on maps that have little, like, bumps. So a little block like this could be a way that you could get some paint around cover without exposing your laser too quickly. And you will also just see people aim at one thing. They'll aim over here, and then just shift their aim right before the shot. But, like, way faster and cooler than I can do it. Something like that. And that way, this player, even if they see the laser, they might think that I'm aiming at somebody else. And then all of a sudden, nope, haha, I missed. And then they're like, oh, he was aiming at me. That would have been really great if aimed by a competent charger player. In case you haven't guessed, this weapon is really hard. It's typically a weapon that people will, if not one trick, then will practice a very significant amount before they ever include it in the rotation of weapons to try and get used to it. How long would you guys say it took you to really feel comfortable playing the charger at any level?
A couple months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing Charger since Splatoon 1, so I have to go into the Wayback Machine for that one. But I think a couple of months sounds about right for getting a feel of things, for sure.
Yeah. Very
And that's
difficult
just like
weapon.
playing it.
Mm-hmm. And so you don't tend to see it a lot in lower levels of play. Like, when I was doing the how to get out of C rank, how to get out of B rank videos, I didn't see people trying chargers until about S rank. And that was just because people would try it, be like, wait, this is really hard, and I'm bad at it, and they'd stop. And then maybe they'd come back to it later, or maybe they'd just suffer through learning it and be a significantly more experienced player by the time they got out of that rank. But by then, they kind of knew what they were doing. So.
It's very punishing, because even if you miss your shot, you're not painting very much. So if you're missing like all of your shots, you're kind of a warm body. But that's also how you get better, you know, taking those L's,
Mm-hmm.
and then you eventually get better. So it's very punishing, but a good charger.
It's very rewarding too, though.
Yeah, you could be a huge threat. So.
Well. Yeah. God, these are going to be rough games. So.
We believe in you. We're cheering you on.
Just point and shoot, point and click game.
You got this.
One mechanic that's really important to a number of different chargers is the concept of charge hold. So when you have charge, when your circle fills all the way up and you're going to do your max damage and have your max range, notice, in case I haven't pointed it out, that a tap shot does not go anywhere near as far as the full charge shot, and also doesn't paint as much. Although the fire rate makes up for this somewhat when you do stuff like this. And that, I believe, is the optimal way to paint for special, if not to paint for movement, to do that. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, I mean, I usually just strafe in a line, but yeah,
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Because this way, like, the paint is going to be more swimmable.
Yeah.
If you're doing fan painting like this, you know, I talked about that in one of my videos, you're painting more unique turf this way, and so that's going to be better for charging special, but it's also going to be worse for movement, because you can't swim very cleanly between any of these lines. So painting, you know, in a rectangle like this, that's going to give you this whole area to swim around in, and so that's going to be more useful for combat. So depends on the situation. I would say more often you're going to lean towards that rectangular pattern, but if your team just really needs that wave breaker, that's the way to do it. So anyway, charge hold. When you have charge, unscoped chargers specifically, not scoped ones, are able to swim a short distance, pop up, and release that charge, and they'll still have it. This is different from the way that a scoped charger will work, where as soon as you swim, everything is canceled, and as soon as you pop up again, you're charging again. So this is a huge mobility advantage. You're able to do things like charge from here, and then pop out from behind cover without really revealing your laser at all, and then pop someone like that. Notice that as I'm swimming, there is a glowing spot on the ground that is visible to the enemy team. So there's no such thing as ninja squidding when you're trying to charge hold. But you can do things like squid roll with charge hold, which means that you can do cool things like wall jump. Is this useful? Probably not, but it's cool.
Do a wall jump 360.
Yeah, right now.
Okay.
I'm ready to pop off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's go!
Let's go.
Yeah, so there are some cool things that you can do with this. Charge hold, as you can see, is not going to last forever. It just went away. And it's going to last a different amount of time depending on the charger. The GooTuber, for example, has a very, very long charge hold. It's like, what, 5 seconds or something? It's a ridiculously long amount of time. And so that weapon is going to take advantage of the charge hold a lot more. With the E-liter and the Splatterscope, or sorry, and the Splat charger, you're more likely to just use this to like pop out from behind cover on an unsuspecting player, and then scare the crap out of them before missing. That's how I play it anyway.
It's also good for if you ever find yourself fighting against a scoped leader and you're unscoped leader, it could be good to pop out of cover and you could get a little. You could close the gap by jumping forward and with a charge hold. But of course, you have to make sure that they aren't staring you down while you do this. Of course.
So, for example, this target I can no longer hit, and I'm probably around scoped E-liter range right now, but I can go for something like that, not reveal my laser to them until I'm already taking the shot, and that would be an option.
Yeah. Because sometimes it can be frustrating playing like unscoped versus scope, because sometimes it's a little tricky.
Yeah, very important to keep an eye on like the reticle when you're unscoped and you're swimming, because I know a lot of new players when they're using unscoped lose track of the reticle. It's important.
So you'll notice that while I'm swimming, there is the reticle that's like right up against the wall, and then there's the reticle that's out in front. And that reticle out in front shows what I would be aiming at if there wasn't a wall in front of me. So as soon as I move over here, you can see that I'm aiming at it. And so if you focus on that outer reticle instead of the reticle that's right next to you, that'll give you a truer sense of what it is you'll actually hit, while also still informing you that, hey, you're about to hit the wall, buddy. So you can see when the laser fills in, when the reticle moves from the back of my head to out where that outer reticle is, that's when I want to take the shot. I think one final thing that I want to cover here is right side peak advantage, because while I've covered this concept separately, it is extremely important for chargers because of the importance of hiding your laser and the importance of staying behind cover and staying unseen until you fire your shot. Because once people know where the charger's at, they're going to immediately try and take cover. They're going to try and take an angle that you can't hit them from, because your weapon hits in a straight line. You can't hit up over the top of stuff. There is no fall-off damage from an E-liter. You can't hit over the top of someone and do damage to them. You'll paint their feet, and that's about all you're going to do. So you need to be on that straight line. This circle does need to be making contact with them in order for you to hit them, unless you need to lead your shot. Like, okay, so like this one, I needed to release that a little bit before the reticle was over the top of them, but you get my idea. So if I peek around the right side of this, actually this is a bad example because there's a ramp. If I peek around the right side of this, we'll see when it is that I can actually spot around it. From right here. Look at how much of my body is still behind cover. Whereas if I peek around the left side of it, I'm pretty much entirely exposed around this corner. And so using the right side of your cover is far more valuable to you as a charger player than the left side, and you always want to gravitate toward that whenever you possibly can. And right side cover, you're going to be using a lot of the tops of ledges, so another positional tip is if there's someone like pretty far below you who's maybe trying to come up the wall or something, and you already have a charge, right side peeking around the top of the ledge is a possible way to hit that. It does expose you a little bit more. You have to be like right up on the ledge here, but it is a way to do it.
There's like I know this is kind of, I guess it's kind of tricky to like master, but if you hold down a charge and then at the same time you press the R button and then you release the fire button and then you hold down the fire button and then release the R button, you could do... I don't know. I didn't mention it because I think that's a little advanced. But you could kind of like get ready to charge a hold without committing to like a fully charged shot, if that makes sense.
So,
No, I think I know what you like sub-canceling your
Yeah.
charge, right?
so like this.
Yeah, you're kind of like prepping to get ready to shoot without committing to like fully charging a shot.
Okay, so this might be a thing that you do where you're maybe trying to ready a shot, but you don't want to ready it all the way so that the laser doesn't like go around a corner.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
might have to like run away, like, or it's more helpful for scoped chargers because of that zoom in. You lose a lot of your field of vision, so you really have to keep your head on a swivel and be aware of your surroundings. So you don't want to zoom in just yet. You want to keep an eye on what's going on the side of the screen before you charge that shot. So that's just
Yeah.
another kind of thing.
I don't even
Interesting.
think about that, but I do it all the time. You're right.
Yeah.
I've never actually heard anybody talk about that, so I'm glad that you guys mentioned that. So one thing to keep in mind that's kind of hard to see is that if you start charging, look at the reticle on the inside and how it moves towards the reticle on the outside. If I'm aiming out, the laser actually is increasing in length as the charge goes out because the laser is showing the range of the weapon and what it can actually hit as it goes forward. So the shorter the charge, the less long the laser is going to be. And so if you don't want to reveal your laser all the way around a corner, then cutting the charge short before you want to fire would be a way to do that. And like they mentioned, when you scope in, one of the biggest disadvantages of this is that you lose so much peripheral vision. Look at how much less of the screen I can see right now. From here, I can see 2 dummies. From here, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 dummies, depending on how the moving ones are going. That is a huge reduction in information, and this is a really easy state to get flanked in. So
Also
if
important.
you just want to keep yourself into this kind of position and then finally commit to it whenever you're ready, that would be a way to do it. And squidding, I imagine, would also be a way to do that. You were going to say, Kayo?
Oh, yeah. Also, like, I know for leader at least, the zoom in doesn't happen until like you're halfway done with your charge. So a lot of people, even if they don't have anything ready to shoot, but like they're in a good position, they'll prep a shot and like do that cancel thing to like keep an eye on the map and find the next target.
Okay, so you can't reach that from there. Big sad. Okay. So that should generally do it for the chargers as a whole. To, again, go over scoped versus unscoped really quickly, the bullet points are scoped has much worse peripheral vision, which is a huge downside, and cannot charge hold when you drop down into the ink, but it has longer range. And doesn't it paint a little bit more? Isn't that one of the changes that they started making towards the end of Splatoon 2?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah, it
is
does paint a bit more.
scoped E-liter, and then this is going to be standard E-liter. That's really hard to tell a difference for.
It looks about the same until you get to the end, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to make... This weapon's too long range. I need to find enough open ground
Yeah,
to fire the darn thing.
We should nerf it.
Back to Splatoon 1 painting.
Okay. So this was scoped. This is unscoped. It feels about the same, and that you're probably just getting more paint because it's longer ranged. Right? Maybe this
Yeah.
one might be a little skinnier. I don't know. It's really hard to judge.
Skinny legend.
I don't know. Anyway. Kits. So, like has been mentioned before, the E-liter has it is a really solid kit, honestly. I think this is like the strongest sub and special combination outside of maybe like the GooTuber, which doesn't count, for a charger in the game, because the mines, while they're not, you know, a bomb, which is what you'd pretty much prefer on almost any weapon, they are nice for guarding places you expect to be flanked from. If you think that someone's going to try and come up this ramp at you, you just put a mine there, and then when it happens, you, oh god, you know, it alerts you. Even if you're scoped in, all of a sudden, ba-dink, and the mine is triggered, and you can snap over here and try and hit your shot on them, maybe hit a couple of tap shots, and you're a little bit safer. It can also be a tool that you use to retreat, so if someone's after you, and you're actively swimming away, you can pop the mine down, and keep popping the mines down, and then when you get, you know, this far away from them, now you can pull out the weapon, because now you're just like, okay, if you hit both of those, I just need one shot. And that is easy for me to hit. So, pretty good for retreating. I think mines are best on ultra backline weapons like the Leader and the Hydra. A lot of other weapons would prefer something else more than these do. But Wavebreaker, you can't really complain about Wavebreaker. I think the biggest thing about this is just that you've got to be careful where you use it, because it does have somewhat limited range. And if you try to put it in too aggressive a location, you're kind of putting yourself out of position to use your main weapon. So you want to be kind of throwing it about as far as it'll go, or maybe putting it behind a wall where it's safe. And then just using that information to be able to spot someone and be like, hi, I know where you are. Nice to meet you. I think that'll bring us to the E-liter portion of it, so here we go. This, wish me luck, guys.
Good luck.
Why do we say, not clams? Like, what factor of clamblets is it that the chargers don't particularly like?
They are a little slow, so it can be difficult for you to push up with your team. And charger is pretty much area denial. So splat zones, they love splat zones. Tower, they love tower because you could snipe people off tower. But clams, it's a little difficult. See, kind of similar with the Rainmaker, but usually you're the Rainmaker wench. You're playing backline.
Yeah.
But for clams, you really have to get up. You have to get clams. You have to make sure you're able to go in with the team, and sometimes it's hard because of how slow you are.
You have to be very proactive. I personally like clams, but yeah, you have to be very proactive in it.
Yeah, I think clams is fine, but it's definitely, at least for me, it's one of the weaker modes for charger in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I think aim-intensive weapons in general do poorly on defense as well, because if you've got to take that clutch shot on something like a power clam holder or the Rainmaker carrier, if you hit your shot, that's great. If you don't hit your shot, well, you're not going to be able to fire another one before they score. So, you know, at top level, I could see that issue declining to not much, but also when you're still learning the weapon, it's going to feel really bad when you have to hit that shot and you just miss it. Alright, so I'm doing great so far. I probably should focus a little bit more on playing the video game, because that was something. I'm gonna try and get a little bit further forward here, see if I can cut this angle off. Oh my goodness. Well,
You should make sure you're placing down your mines.
That's
because
true.
that could be helpful for the team when they're trying to defend. Just like on entry points is also helpful.
yeah, like right there, they're gonna trigger that mine. You know they're gonna trigger that mine. Ooh, I can hit that. That's nice. One thing I do like about chargers that I have found is that even if I'm not hitting shots, if I put a shot close enough where they're like, oh crap, that could have hit me, that still has an impact on the game. It's not as big of an impact as you want to have, but it's at least a consolation prize. There we go. There's a shot.
Another, another. Go, 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 go.
I tried to get myself backed out of there. I was hoping that we'd hold from the front for long enough for me to get away with just throwing one and running. That's not it. That's more of a shooter idea, I think.
And make sure you're checking the map a lot more because flanks are your worst enemy, and you want to be aware of where everyone is at all times. Not only for defense, but like where you want to like position yourself to get a hit.
Man, I saw that coming and I still didn't hit it. Well, they're over there now. They're my team's problem now.
Now you're getting it.
They got the unlucky DC too.
Oh, they did DC.
So now the odds are even. I'm also trying to shift back and forth to different positions so that it's not predictable where I'm going to be shooting from.
Ooh, nice shot.
Thank you. Nice. I'm scoring right now so that I can back up afterwards. Oh no! I got hit by all three
putting
hits.
a mine like when you're scoring under there, that's also
Oh yeah.
cheeky. Because once like everyone inevitably dies, at least you marked them.
Yeah, and if they paint over your feet, and if there's a mine there, it'll help you like paint your feet so you can escape faster.
Yeah, so you could Scooby-Doo run noise out of there.
Why does it take so long to trigger the mines as a booyah bomb? That's weird.
Yeah, I've seen like my mines just not get triggered, even though someone threw a booyah bomb directly at it. It's kind of wacky.
Yeah, they have to like.
Is
trigger
it because of the
special-
inconsistent painting pattern, maybe?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They have to
interesting.
trigger the inner circle, not the outer circle.
And how much damage does it do to objects? Like, is this something where me devoting some time to going after the Rainmaker Shield or a Booyah Bomb is really worthwhile?
I don't think it does any damage to objects, does it? It must.
I guess it does, but it's like, why would you want to run up to the Rainmaker Shield to place a mine when you could just...
No, not the
Yeah.
mines, the main weapon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I have an object trigger on Rainmaker just because it's nice.
The full charge is good for the shield, and booyah bombs especially. If you hit a booyah bomb, it doesn't take much for a teammate to finish it off with a full charge.
All right, we did it, guys. A completely legitimate win.
Also, another thing is, don't be greedy because you dropped into mid a few times, and you have to be really disciplined to not do that because you're very boppable. They'll
Yeah.
see you like, ooh, fresh meat, bop, and you'll die.
Yeah. That's a habit that I have even with weapons that are supposed to be dropping into mid. But I will do my best.
You got this.
Yeah, very important to have teammates in front of you at all times too. And if there isn't, you should probably just like bounce really quickly.
That's a really good
Yeah.
general rule to have, to just always be thinking, is there someone in front of me? Like, treat yourself like the Rainmaker carrier at all times. I always edit these moments of waiting out.
That means
Okay,
I
that's
have
good.
these swear words.
Kayo's going to be saying something informational, and then Aplo's just going to say something that I have to edit out.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm
On
a Rapid Pro!
Splatoon 2 war flashback.
So be mindful of your ledges. and try to end the zip caster, because the zip caster is gonna go towards you.
Ooh, let's go.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Sneaky. Right here, once you get like 3 down, yeah, you got it.
And the mine there. Oh gosh.
Always
Where did that
important when
come
they go
from?
3 down.
They were really
to look-
sharking.
They
for
were, yeah.
That entire time, weren't they?
Yeah, they
That's
were.
insane.
It's really important when they go 3 down, like especially the backline, like looks out for that last player.
That's why the map is like your BFF.
Mm-hmm.
Well, got a little bit too lost in the map there.
A man can get lost in sauce.
Don't forget to take off angles too. Like if there's like a base that's not as high, you can reach all the battle paths from like an off angle. That catches everyone off.
Oh, that was almost there.
That sponge is kind of goofy. If it's like half, oh gosh, replay. If it's half way full, you could kind of do your jump shot over the block.
Okay.
Sometimes I get sad when my teammates fill it up all the way. Like, no!
I keep trying to charge hold, because that's the way that I typically play the charger. Oh god. Well, at least they're trying to reef slider instead of doing something useful.
Very true.
Like, mind your business then, all of a sudden, those reef slider threats.
I'm sorry, teammate. I am but a new leader. Oh, well, okay. I'll move then. Worth noting that I am playing on max sense because that's what I'm used to, and I'm not going to change it for this, but if I were to be a charger main, I would probably decrease it a little bit.
I actually play on max sense.
You are a brave and very cool soul.
I play a 0 for motion and then positive on the sticks because it's.
And now for the backline special.
Jumping out very good.
Very good, very good. Because the stick you want to do for bigger adjustments, but the motion that's like for fine tuning. So when they're in the door like that, try to play off the top right.
Okay. So from
Kind of where
like
that
here.
grate is. Yeah.
A little too obvious, I guess.
Yeah, gotta watch out for those Zukas.
Everything's out to get to the Zukas, the zip cast,
Honestly, if they have a Zuka, they will be aiming it at you.
Yeah,
the
that's
bombs.
as a Zuka player can confirm. You've been bullying me all game. This is the one chance I get. GG, Becca. Becca is a streamer. Is it spelled Bekha, I think? I think that's how she spells it on Twitch.
Yeah, I think so.
Man, I felt good about that game. I hit 2 shots.
They were the important ones, the cool ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have games like that. I don't do anything, but then I hit like the sickest shot of my life. And
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, I'm pretty cracked.
You do nothing for 4.5 minutes, and then you hit one shot, and you're like, that was a good game.
Yeah.
You hit
Or
like a
it's
really
like-
cool one.
Yeah, I do like nothing, but then I do like a really clutch play for defending or something, and I'm like, shoo! I'm not getting kicked off the team just yet, guys.
I'm still
doing
worthwhile in the clip compilations. I'm still doing
earning
my work for FaZe Clan here.
It always hurts when the spec cam on tournaments switch to the charger and they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then you do something cool right when they switch off.
Yeah.
So moving on, we've got the Splat Charger. Splat Charger is a little bit shorter range, but in exchange for that, it has a faster charge time. In a vacuum, these two weapons are generally kind of more a matter of taste a lot of the time, because the faster charge time does let you play a little bit more aggressively. You have less time before you have to fire a shot, or before you can fire a shot, and using the charge hold mechanic, especially on the Splat Charger, lets you get a little bit further in there and be just a little bit zippier. Still very hard backline, still something that you want to be playing very carefully with. But another advantage of it is that you happen to be able to drop bombs at your feet. So if someone's chasing you, you just put one of those there and be like, haha, you can't move there. Very similar to how an E-liter might retreat with its mines, except the mines are not lethal and the bomb is. So all of that is super nice, and if this were the Splatoon 2 Charger that had Ray on it, that would make it definitely the weapon of choice in most cases. However, it has InkFac, and that makes it a lot more situational in this game. InkFac is not one of the highest value specials in the game. There are some teams that are using it. I've seen some Jet Squelchers. I've seen some Chargers try to run it. They are the two weapons that you will generally see running InkFac currently. It's usually for like tower control. That's usually where they're putting it, so they can keep the tower push alive. But for the most part, it's just, it takes a few too many circumstances to go right for you to get a lot of value out of it. You have to be in just the right position to be able to protect like your whole team from it, or to protect yourself from it. You have to also not be in a position where you're going to die for using it. You also have to, be in a position where firing the shot is not going to make you vulnerable, and that you're going to be able to aim that shot, even though it's pretty dodgeable. It's so slow. There are a lot of issues with InkFac that hold the entire weapon of the Charger back a little bit, and so we're not seeing as much of it as we are seeing of E-liter at the moment. But all of the players who play Chargers kind of go back and forth between E-liters and Chargers right now, like Q and Ice, and all of the top level Chargers are doing both and just playing whatever depending on what the team wants when they do play Chargers, except all of them are playing Flingza right now is actually what's happening. So yeah. Man, some of these shots, they look like they're hitting and then they don't.
Yeah, shoot or aim. You're stopping too
early. You
early.
gotta release it at the right time too.
Yeah. I can't play shooters because my reticle is always on the target. So I feel like it's like the opposite problem for you. Yeah,
that's true, because as soon as you release it, it is going in exactly that direction. There's no amount of like leading your shots or anything. Is it the projectile speed that's causing that effect? That's the Charger's projectile speed is much faster? Yeah, so you don't have to lead your shots by as much to be able to hit them with the Charger. All right, and we're back now that I have sufficient disk space to actually record another match. Whoops. So there was a match that I played on the Splat Charger where I won, and it was lost to time, so you'll just have to believe me that I fragged out and was super sick.
It was really cool.
He went 12-0. It was insane.
1 minute knockout.
Yeah, 1 minute knockout.
12 splats in that time, of course.
Of course.
Also on Hammerhead, perfect. We'll just do the same thing again.
I think that Aaliyah person was in your game before.
Mm-hmm. I've seen Shrimpy before as well.
Yeah, the run back.
Oh my god, what is this comp? What?
It's the winning comp.
Why? Oh no. Oh, that was on target too. Hitting a not fully charged shot feels so bad because I'm like, I did the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
I just forgot about the easy part. That was probably a little bit much, but you can probably like get your back to a corner and just ink vac safely, right? Unless there's a melee weapon.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But still with ink vac you need follow-up. That's why it's like... So you could like survive, suck up all their ink, but as soon as you have to take the shot, the best you could do is trade. It's sad. He's scary.
Oh, that was so funny.
I know. Like,
When your team goes 3 down, it's almost safer to like let them push you and like get a little bit of space in between you and them, so you can take your shot and like try to go for those clutch close-up kills.
yeah, you gotta bait them. Just like know they're gonna be here and just
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
go, go,
There's someone on the other side of that.
ink vac. Suck up all the dust on their clothes.
Oh, true. That would have been a good I play with the bubbler, huh?
Ah. That is not a panic special. I can't get that
No,
out very
not at
fast.
all.
Let me jump into this. This is fine. Oop. Oh, okay. That was a little bit early to be pushing, I would say. Oh no.
Yeah. This drawers are rolling in circles around it.
Oh. That's the strategy.
Sometimes
Oh, I tried to save him.
it works.
No, no, no!
Because
Didn't
he's
say
so
that.
like he's weird. A lot of times in like, if I'm playing Splat Charger and we get like a double Charger game, sometimes I put my junior main shoes on and I just throw bombs.
Oh, come on. I hit the shot and they still threw it. What's that about?
Latency, it happened.
Oh, that would have been a sick shot.
I think I didn't have enough charge even if I hit it.
It would have been weak.
Major.
Alright. How did...
Double back.
Oh. Oh. That was so close.
That honestly felt like a better game, and we lost way worse because of the comp.
Yeah, the comp holding it back.
that was a pretty
like
special combination of weapons. Overall splatter, let's go.
Nice.
I don't expect that to be happening very often today, but that feels good. Holy moly, they're forge.
Yeah, they're kind of popping off.
Goodness. Alrighty, well. That brings us to
If you want.
What the hey, we'll do Splatterscope. We're here. After that, we have to talk about weapons with significantly different mechanics. The bamboo, the squiff, the goo tuber, and the snipe rider. The bad ones. I mean, what? Honestly, I feel that way about snipe rider. Like,
Yeah, Snipe Rider would be
it's-
really good.
It's something that, like, once it gets a kit that a backliner can actually use, like, I could see
needs
it being
wall.
better than the bamboo. I don't know if it will be, but I could see it. But the kit that it has right now is not it.
Give it wall.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I think wall would make it, even if it had a wall and cooler, it would still,
Yeah, cooler's not it.
yeah.
Alright, not a lot
I
of
would
paint,
look
but we
past
do
the
have
coolers
high
to
slaying
look
power. And we have some frontliners this time.
Ooh.
On that shot, I'm just trying to paint their feet behind them so that if they do try and retreat, they don't have a way to.
Yeah, sometimes.
That wasn't
like,
ideal. They had to give me that angle for me to be able to hit that. Ooh, let's go.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, nice one.
Oh, please wait, please wait, please wait,
Think back,
please
think
wait.
back.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, don't move forward.
Nice.
Woo!
I'm gonna die to this, but... They missed! Are you kidding me? They missed the clam!
That was such a good play, too. That was such a good play.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
It does, it does. It's like... I made such a cool play to set that up. Come on, man.
You need to give the power clan
Got
aim assist.
nervous.
I don't think they know that they're in our base.
Oh,
Oh shoot, that's a zipcaster.
Ooh, that's the zippy.
Ooh, nice.
Eh. I don't like being in mid here. Oh, too low ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to finish that sentence while also being scared of the Tetris.
You have to have like the size.
There's a scoped charger for you. Did not see that coming.
Here's how jam can start.
Get the flag.
I believe.
Ooh.
Oh no.
There's a banana peel, I saw it.
Use those bombs on choke like the ramp. Real good.
Ironically, now I actually want to be here. Where did that come from? What?
Oh, from him.
That was a little concerning because that's yeah, okay, they figured it out.
Ooh.
Trying to vac a stamper, it's a melee weapon, so it can still hit you. So that was not the way to approach that fight.
Oh yeah, you should jump. Yeah, jump up.
I did actually intend to try and draw them off a little bit, because I figured I could still get out with a jump, and the less time that they spend actually throwing clams in, the more likely the basket just closes.
Yeah, and it helped your team come back in too. So that was good.
Oh, hi.
Stanford, like,
Man, it's the stamper
going
again.
in.
Oh, he's trying to
Oh!
get the kill. Nice trade.
By the way, I haven't gotten an opportunity, but you can just snipe the end of a reef slider.
Oh yeah.
It's stupidly easy. It is not something that should be a part of the game, in my opinion. I think that they need to either significantly improve its cooldown or its recover or its startup. Thank you, teammates. With an E-liter, I would not have been able to charge up fast enough for that. I do personally prefer Splat Charger to E-liter for the charge time.
Yeah, I think Splat Charger is... It's
Oh, no!
Oh, that's
I
sad.
think, yeah, I think Splat Charger is easier than Leader for chargers.
That might be the thumbnail.
Oh,
Oh no!
Splat Charger's definitely the more approachable one.
Yeah. Because Leader's great, but it needs it.
Well, that's game, because our power clan is dead in their base.
Oh.
That was a better game, though.
Yeah, you did great.
Thank you.
You made some plays, even if that one didn't go through.
That Staffer was super sneaky, though.
Alright, so now we get to play the funky chargers.